Welcome to another edition of Footy HQ. This week with Bendigo Footy we have a split round, which is not one of my favourite things, Westie, split round, but at least for this week we've got two really intriguing games. Eaglehawk playing Kyneton out at Canterbury Park and Golden Square hosting the Strathstorm out at My Jet Oval. Well, Westie, we'll start out at Eaglehawk. I think this game is going to have huge ramifications for the top five later in the year, and I see we're in the paper we're split on our tips here. I've gone for the Borough and you've gone for the Tigers.
Yeah, I suppose when we look at towards the end of the year, you could probably say there's four teams that at this stage looks like they're pretty good things to make the final. So there's really only room for probably one of Kangaroo Flat, Kyneton or Eaglehawk, and of course we've got two of them playing on Saturday. So really high stakes for both these sides. They're both 4 and 5, and you know, there's the potential to drop two games outside the top five, or just be outside the top five on percentage after this round. So a massive difference there in terms of what's on the line potentially. So both sides are coming off defeats last week and really keen to turn around and get back on the winners list, particularly Kyneton, who were obviously very disappointing against Maryborough last week, the first side to lose to the Magpies. So they'll be really keen to come out and show something on Saturday.
There's more at stake here for Kyneton. I know they're on equal win-loss with Eaglehawk, but there's something like 30% behind them on percentage. So if they were to drop another game behind Eaglehawk, that's virtually 2 games off the pace. So this is sort of a season-defining moment for the Tigers, but geez, on the back of last week's performance, I don't know how you could tip them with any confidence.
No, that's right, but who knows, maybe that game against Kangaroo Flat the week before, you know, took a fair bit of sting out of them. They obviously had to pull out all stops to win that one. On the other hand, Eaglehawk were obviously pretty competitive for 3 quarters against Sandhurst last week, but ended up going down by 33 points. 3 changes there to the Eaglehawk side, but still no Matt Gilmore or Pascal Craig, and I probably reckon they're just lacking a couple of those key marking targets inside 50 at the moment. They've really got to scrap for their goals in the moment, but yeah, look, I think this is probably like the round 1 game, probably, you know, a game that could go either way, but yeah, I'm just backing Kyneton into to turn around last week and get back on the winners list.
Out at My Jet Oval, it's Golden Square and Strathfield say doing battle, second versus fourth, and it's, you know, Strathfield say haven't been around for too long, but these two teams have developed a really strong rivalry in the past few years. Strathfield say have had the wood on Square in the home and away games in the past 2 years, but Square knocked them off in the 2 games that really matter, the second semi and the grand final last year. So there's sure to be a bit of feel amongst the 2 clubs tomorrow.
Yeah, probably not a lot of love lost between these two sides, is there? And you know, that's probably full credit for Strathfield so to be able to come into the competition the way they have, and you know, only 6th year in and really start to build some rivalries already. So you know, I spoke to Nick Carter during the week, and he talked about it's a chance for them to challenge themselves against the best, and as we know, over the last 5 years when we've been talking about sides challenging themselves against the best, that's when they've been coming up against Golden Square. So a bit of a role reversal for the Bulldogs, just like the other week against Sandhurst. So Sandhurst, you know, that game 2 weeks ago, Golden Square pretty much led them all day, but couldn't get over the line. So no doubt they'll be keen to turn a you know, competitive effort a couple of weeks ago against Sandhurst into a win against Strathfield, say on Saturday. And we've seen the last couple of years that they've really started to build in the second half of the year, and I guess that's what they'll be focused on doing again this year.
If you were Golden Square coach, who do you send Clayton Anderson to? He's the best small defender in the competition. Does he go to Lockie Sharp, who he's had some, you know, really great battles with in the past couple of years, or do you send him to Milne?
Look, no disrespect to Lockie Sharp, you know the quality player he is, but I think Clayton would be heading straight to Milne like he did back in round 1 when Milne kicked 5 on him that day. So Clayton will be keen to get one back here, but you mentioned Lockie Sharp, and he's one of the several players that just started filtering back into the Strathfield side, and we caught up with Darryl Wilson earlier in the week and just asked him about how the side's slowly starting to come together for the Storm.
Yeah, look, we had to be patient, I guess. We had a lot of long-term injuries that we knew early were going to be, you know, half of the year. To get Tom Bartholomew back was great last week. Yeah, we'll have Sean Everington back in the next week or 2. He's about the only one. Ash Trollope and John O'Gawthorpe are only short-term injuries, so they'll be back. But yeah, nearly getting a complete list.
there's always a lot of hype about your forward line. And finally last week you're able to get Stephen Milne, Lockie Sharp, Tom Bartholomew and Sam Mildren all on the same park together, and 16 goals first up out of 23. You must have been really happy with how those four boys gelled first up.
Oh, we've been pretty excited by our forward line all year, even without a couple of players, but to have Sam and Mildren come back, and Tom, as I said before, has been great. Lockie Sharp's form's been sensational. We're playing him a little bit higher, but Milne had to push someone out of there, and he's pushed Sharpie up the ground a bit. But it's good because Sharpie's disposal's great. But yeah, if we get Milne to kick straight, I think he's about a 50-50 at the moment. He's kicked 5-7 again on the weekend, or 5-8. So if we can get him to kick straight, it'll be better. But it'll gel very shortly, and we'll get Steve Baker back as well this week to give some defensive pressure in there. So that's the main aim, is to get some pressure inside 50.
There's been plenty of hype surrounding yourselves and Sandhurst this year, obviously being the two clear standout sides, but there's a side you come up against this week in Golden Square, and there's still a highly respected team and look like they're starting to get their act together, and a really big game for you guys this week against the reigning premiers.
Yeah, went out and watched Golden Square last week, and obviously Corey Jones form midfield forward. I think he had 4 on the board by the 8-minute mark of the first quarter, so he's one that we've got to watch. Obviously Rick Ladson will come back at some point, but with Jack Geary and Simon Rosa and Woodward and these guys, they're a formidable team, and they remind me very much of Mount Pleasant, where over the years in the Heathcote League when I played and coached, you just weren't sure what you were going to get in the second half, and they battled along early and then come home like they did last year and knocked us over. So we're very wary of that. Got some great players. They've lost, but they've picked up some great players, and they're a great list, and we'll be up against it this week on their home dug.
Yeah. You guys have won 6 in a row, all pretty comfortably. Look like you're really starting to hit your straps. How much more improvement do you reckon you've still got in you guys, entering the second half of the season?
Well, I think there's still a fair bit of improvement. I think that defensively we're not quite there yet, and some of our skill level inside 50 has been very ordinary. So I think last week we tried to take the game on a little bit too much, and instead of hitting the best option, we went long. So we're going to have to work on picking that first best option under pressure and getting the ball in quicker but better. So our disposal inside 50 hasn't been great. So we just got to get that right. Our defensive end's been very, very good, given our centre clearances and inside 50's opposition have been up. I think our back line's done a great job. Lee Pryor coming back's been good for us. Joden Donaldson's form's been pretty sound, and we get Ash Trollope back there. But that's probably the main area of just... and I think our centre clearance work's got to improve as well.
Yeah. Lastly, how have you approached this week, coming off the short turnaround, the Monday game, then backing up 5 days later on the Saturday?
Oh, look, it's something we've known about for a long time. So we dropped our training load last week, knowing full well that we had the Monday game. Not ideal, but that's the way it is. We knew the draw was there, and we knew what we're up against. They did a fairly big recovery session in the rooms. Another one Tuesday night. Tonight, will be very, very light. Get us through for Saturday, and hopefully we're right to go.
Well, Westy, for me, you can't go past the Storm. I know Golden Square have improved in the past few weeks, but I just can't see how their backline's going to be able to hold Strathfield Tay to a losing score, even if it is wet. I think that'll play into Milne's hands and Lockie Sharp. So for me, I think the Storm will win by 3 or 4 goals.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the Strathfield Tay side, as we're seeing, she's going to get stronger and stronger every week, and they're going to continue to build towards September. So hopefully Golden Square can take it up to them like they did against Sandhurst, but yeah, I'd be expecting the Storm to come out on top and notch up their 7th win in a row and continue their good form. Berkey, and I guess on Sunday the Bendigo Gold travelled down to Frankston, a big build up to last week's game against Coburg. We thought it was a genuine winning opportunity, but not to be. But I guess on Sunday they come up against a side that also hasn't won a game, so all things being equal, you'd like to think that the Gold can serve it up to Frankston and finally break that back.
Yeah, I was at the Gold game last week, and look, their second quarter was fantastic. If they could produce what they produced for that quarter over a whole game, well, they'd be well and truly in a lot of games. But the problem has been just no consistency over 4 quarters. So look, even though Frankston haven't won a game, it's hard to see the Gold beating them just on results. Frankston really pushed Footscray last week to 2 or 3 goals, and we saw earlier in the year what Footscray did to the Gold. So look, for Bendigo footy's sake, I really hope the Gold can have a win, but on form, it's hard to see that happening.
All right, as well. Good luck to the Gold and good luck to all teams competing this weekend.